Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm in Bardstown, and I'm talking with Marlon Howard, who is the fire chief here in Bardstown. So how many firefighters are out here?
We had 28 signed up in the class, and we've actually picked up a couple over the course of the day. So they're from all over the region. They've come as far as from almost to Cincinnati. We'll have people in the E-Town area, all over the area.
And it's a two-day event, right? You're doing it on Saturday and Sunday?
That's correct. They'll go in teams. They'll do different evolutions. One team may go multiple times, but they get to enter the structure, see what fires are. They place them in different locations to train on advancing the hose lines, finding the fires, how the fire grows. That's what mostly is concentrated on this morning, is how a fire grows. When it starts from a small stage, how it travels up the walls, how it fills the cavity at the ceiling, then starts traveling along the smoke and unburned gases out into a hallway, and then as it gets bigger and grows and heats the entire room up, and then they'll start putting it out.
Now, we're actually at the old location for Adventures in Gardening around the Louisville Road, and people in the community actually provide these locations for these test fires, right?
That's correct. Most of the control burns that we have, the house fires that we have, are houses that are slated for demolition, or they're doing something different with the property. This was an excellent opportunity because the house was in such good shape. You think normally, well, if they're just going to burn it down, you can have any kind of dilapidated house. The rules are actually very strict. There's been several weeks of preparation on this house. Anything that's synthetic inside of it has to come out. Carpeting, any furniture, plastics, glass, all that has to come out of the house to make it safe to burn. And you have to have a house that's not going to be a danger of someone falling through a floor or a wall collapsing during the burning. So it has to be in good shape.
Now, how often do you do these kind of test burns?
Well, it's just when the opportunity arises. You remember we did one last year in our department alone. The opportunity became available right about the same time that the Dixie was starting to plan their fire school, so we offered it up to them, and several individuals from the Bardstown Fire Department came out and helped prep the house, all that work that had to be done beforehand, and we hosted it today by having our apparatus out here and supplying the hose lines and things for them to use.
Again, I've been talking with Chief Howard with the Bardstown and Bardstown-Nelson County Fire Departments, and we're out here with the Dixie Firefighters Association for their test burn, and we're going to take a little tour inside with the Chief. Thank you very much.
Great. They are started some evolutions. The smoke that we're seeing up here right now is a little bit of extension from a fire that they had before lunch. So they'll get that put out because everything needs to be in a controlled environment. The fires that we light, we want to be intentional, not something that's an extension from a previous fire. Watch your step coming up. None of these rooms have been burned in yet, but you can see what the heat does as it comes out into these rooms from the other rooms. It causes condensation that'll run down the walls. Moving to this room, you'll see where the controlled burn was actually lit. It's pallets and straw, natural fibers. We don't burn any synthetics like rugs or upholstered chairs or any of those type of things. They made several burns in this room. You can see how it finally ate away at the drywall to the point that they had to remove some of the drywall, and it actually got into the structure. So they're doing what we call overhaul at this point in time, to try to remove the drywall and wet that down so that we don't have the house on fire somewhere where we don't want it. As you look up at the ceiling, you see how the fire deteriorates the drywall. The drywall is fire retardant, so it keeps the fire in check in the room, is a lot of its purpose. You can look at where the heat level comes down. For this training fire, the heat level came down to about this level. Then you see the damage stops here. That's where we want all the firefighters, the students are down at that level, watching what the flame does, how it grows, how it travels across the ceiling in the smoke. And again, this is all your damage. They had painted this mural on here, and that's the damage that happens to the wall covering just from the heat that's generated by. This is a regional school. Dixie Firefighters Association are putting this school on. The Bardstown Fire Department is just hosting the school. They have drawn people in. I know I talked to one gentleman in the class today as far away as almost Cincinnati. So we have a large group of people in town today and get a chance to see Bardstown, hopefully come back some other time and enjoy what it has to offer. This was the room that they burned in first this morning, and they moved down the hallway to that room where you can see the heat and some of the flames rolled out into the hallway and worked on that wall covering. That was right before lunch. They're overhauling to make sure that all of the fire in the structure is out. Then they'll move to another room that they have not burned in and start setting a controlled fire.
That's yours. Hey, Jared!
Yeah, he's carrying in fuel for the fire. Again, pieces of pallets.
How many firefighters are there in here at a time?
They're sending them in crews of either 4 or 5. They work in teams. That way they learn how to advance the hose lines, how to work as a nozzle man and a backup person. Outside the structure, there's also a backup team that's ready to come in the event that something were, an extra line was needed. And also on the outside is what we call a RIT team, a rapid intervention team, so that if something actually happened inside that was not intended to happen, they're immediately ready to come in and help the people that are inside out, help those firefighters that are in trouble out. So all the safety precautions that are taken on this, just as they are on a real structure fire. Try to make it as real life as possible.